First contact. The arrival. The day the skies darkened over Earth was the day humanity realized it was no longer alone in the universe. It was also the day that the galaxy learned a crucial lesson. Never underestimate the tenacity of a species that evolved on a death world. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the ISS Resilient, Earth's first interstellar vessel, as it hurtled through the void towards the massive alien ship that had appeared at the edge of the solar system. Her heart raced, but her voice remained steady as she addressed her crew. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to make history. First contact. Remember your training, stay alert, and let's show these visitors what humanity is made of. As the Resilient approached the alien vessel, its true scale became apparent. It dwarfed their ship, a behemoth of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields that defied human understanding. Sarah swallowed hard, pushing down the primal fear that threatened to overwhelm her. This was no time for doubt. The alien ship's hangar bay opened like a monstrous maw, swallowing the Resilient whole. As they touched down, Sarah led her team to the airlock, her hand resting on the sidearm she hoped she wouldn't need to use. The aliens that greeted them were nothing like the little green men of Earth's fiction. Towering beings of crystalline structure, their bodies shimmered with internal light, and their voices resonated directly in the humans' minds. "Greetings, creatures of Earth," the lead alien projected. "We are the Zarkol, shepherds of the galaxy. We have come to assess your species' worthiness to join the galactic community." Sarah stepped forward, her chin held high. "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you. We're honored by your visit and eager to learn about the wider universe." The Zarkol leader's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Learn. Oh, little ones, you misunderstand. We are not here to teach, but to judge. Your species teeters on the brink of true spacefaring capability. It is our duty to determine if you deserve that privilege, or if you pose too great a threat to be allowed to leave your cradle." A chill ran down Sarah's spine, but she kept her composure. "Threat? We come in peace. Humanity seeks only to explore and understand the cosmos." Peace. The alien's mental voice dripped with condescension. "Your history is written in blood, your planet scarred by war. We have observed your kind for centuries. You are violent, unpredictable, dangerous, perhaps too dangerous to be allowed to spread among the stars." Sarah's mind raced. This wasn't the friendly first contact humanity had hoped for. It was a trial, with the survival of their species hanging in the balance. "You're right," Sarah admitted, surprising both her crew and the aliens. "Humanity has a violent past. We've made mistakes, terrible ones, but we've also learned from them. Our history of conflict has taught us the value of peace, of cooperation. It's made us strong, adaptable, and innovative." The Zarkol leader leaned closer, its crystalline form towering over Sarah. "Pretty words, human. But words alone are not enough. You will be tested. Your species will face challenges that will push you to your limits. Only then will we determine if you are worthy of joining the galactic community, or if you must be contained for the safety of all." As the alien spoke, holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing images of Earth. Cities, forests, oceans, and lurking beneath it all, the unmistakable signs of military installations, weapons stockpiles, the scars of old wars. "You have one planetary rotation to prepare," the Zarkol announced. "Then the trials begin. May your species prove wiser and more worthy than we fear." With that, the aliens ushered the human delegation back to their ship. As the Resilient departed the massive alien vessel, Sarah's mind whirled with the implications of what had just occurred. They had made first contact, yes, but not with the benevolent teachers they had hoped for. Instead, they faced a species that viewed them as potential vermin to be exterminated. Commander, her second-in-command, Jack Foster, approached her. "What are we going to do? They're going to test us." This sounds like a prelude to invasion. Sarah's jaw clenched as she stared out at the stars, the alien ship now a looming presence above their home planet. We're going to do what humanity has always done when backed into a corner, Jack. We're going to fight, we're going to innovate, and we're going to prove those pompous space crystals wrong." She turned to address her crew, her voice firm and resolute. "Get me a direct line to Earth. Every government, every military leader, every scientific institution. We have less than 24 hours to prepare for whatever these trials may be. It's time to show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of." As the Resilient raced back to Earth, carrying news that would forever change human history, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of fear and excitement. The Zarkol had underestimated humanity, viewing their turbulent history as a weakness. But Sarah knew better. That very history had forged humanity into a species unlike any other, adaptable, resilient, and utterly unwilling to go quietly into the night. The coming days would test humanity like never before, but as she looked at the determination on the faces of her crew, Sarah felt a surge of pride and hope. Whatever trials the Zarkol had in store, humanity would face them head-on. The galaxy was about to learn a valuable lesson. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a crucible, and its children were forged in fire, ready to take their place among the stars, whether the Zarkol approved or not. As they approached Earth, the weight of their responsibility settled heavily on Sarah's shoulders. They carried not just news of first contact, but a warning of impending judgment. Humanity's future among the stars hung in the balance, and the clock was ticking. The Resilient breached Earth's atmosphere, streaking across the sky like a herald of destiny. As they descended towards the United Nations headquarters in New York, Sarah steeled herself for the challenges ahead. The time had come for humanity to prove its worth, not just to the Zarkol, but to themselves. Little did the aliens know, they had just awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why Earth was classified as a death world, and why its inhabitants were a force to be reckoned with. The real test was about to begin, and Sarah Chen, along with the rest of humanity, was ready to face it head-on. The impending storm. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with attention unlike any in human history. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat in stunned silence as Commander Sarah Chen finished her briefing. The holographic display behind her showed the looming form of the Zarkol ship, a silent threat hanging over their world. "Less than 20 hours, the Secretary General muttered, his face ashen. "Less than 20 hours to prepare for trials that will determine the fate of our entire species." Sarah nodded grimly. "That's correct, Mr. Secretary. The Zarkol were clear. We will be tested, and the results will determine whether humanity is allowed to join the galactic community, or if we're deemed too dangerous to leave our solar system." A murmur of disbelief and fear rippled through the assembly. The Chinese representative stood, his voice sharp with anger. "And who are these aliens to judge us, to decide our fate?" "They call themselves the Shepherds of the Galaxy," Sarah replied. "From what we gathered, they've taken it upon themselves to regulate the spread of spacefaring civilizations. They see themselves as protectors, keeping the galaxies safe from potentially dangerous species. Like us," the Russian representative added bitterly. Sarah's eyes hardened. "Yes, like us. But I think they've made a critical mistake. They've judged us solely on our past, on our conflicts and wars. They've failed to see how those very struggles have shaped us, made us stronger, more adaptable." The hall fell silent as Sarah's words sank in. She continued, her voice gaining strength. "We don't have time for politics or national rivalries. Whatever these trials are, we face them as one species, humanity united against a common challenge." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the building. The holographic display flickered, showing a live feed from orbit. The Zarkol ship was moving, descending into Earth's atmosphere. "It seems," Sarah said grimly, "that the trials are beginning sooner than we expected." Across the globe, humanity watched in awe and terror as the massive alien ship descended. It came to rest hovering above the Pacific Ocean, its crystalline surface reflecting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. In military bases worldwide, personnel scrambled to battle stations, unsure whether to expect an attack or some other form of test. Scientists huddled over computers, analyzing every scrap of data they could gather about the alien vessel and its occupants. And in a hidden bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of Earth's brightest minds had gathered, led by Dr. Aisha Patel, the foremost expert in theoretical xenobiology. What we're dealing with, Aisha explained to the assembled group of scientists, military strategists, and world leaders, is a species so advanced that they view us much like we might view bacteria in a petri dish. The Zarkol's crystalline biology suggests they operate on fundamentally different principles than carbon-based life like us. General Marcus Harding, a grizzled veteran of countless earthbound conflicts, leaned forward. That's all fascinating, Doctor, but how do we fight them if it comes to that? Aisha shook her head. Fighting should be our absolute last resort. Their technology is centuries, maybe millennia beyond ours. A direct conflict would be problematic. Then what do you suggest? The question came from President Elena Rodriguez, her face grim on the video screen. Before Aisha could answer, the bunker shook violently. Alarms blared as dust rained from the ceiling. Report. General Harding barked into his comm unit. The response came back filled with static. Sir, it's impossible. The Rocky Mountains. They're moving. On the bridge of the ISS Resilient, now docked at the International Space Station, Sarah Chen watched in horror as the impossible unfolded on Earth below. The Rocky Mountains, a range that had stood for millions of years, were rising. Entire sections of the Earth's crust were shifting, moving like pieces on a giant chessboard. Rivers changed course in minutes, new valleys formed in the blink of an eye, and mountain ranges rose from flat plains. My God, Jack Foster whispered beside her. They're terraforming Earth in real time. Sarah's mind raced. This had to be the first of the Zarkol's trials. But what were they testing? Their ability to adapt, to survive. Or perhaps, they're not just terraforming. Sarah realized aloud. They're weaponizing the planet against us, changing the very ground beneath our feet. As if to confirm her words, a massive chasm opened in the heart of Europe, swallowing entire cities. In Asia, mountains thrust upward from the sea, creating a new archipelago in minutes. The Australian outback, once arid, was suddenly crisscrossed with newborn rivers. This is Commander Chen to all Earth forces, Sarah broadcast on all frequencies. Do not, I repeat, do not engage the alien vessel. Focus all efforts on evacuating and protecting civilian populations. This is not an attack, it's a test, and how we respond will determine our future. As chaos unfolded on the planet below, Sarah couldn't help but feel a glimmer of pride. Despite the unimaginable stress and danger, humanity was rallying. Reports flooded in of rescue operations, of neighbors helping neighbors, of ancient rivals setting aside differences to face this challenge together. In New York, skyscrapers swayed like trees in a storm as the ground beneath them undulated. Yet camera feeds showed first responders forming human chains to evacuate buildings, their faces set with grim determination. In the newly formed islands of the South China Sea, Chinese and Vietnamese naval vessels worked in tandem to pluck survivors from the churning waters. And in the vast chasm that had split Europe, a hastily assembled international team of geologists and engineers was already working on a plan to stabilize the edges and create safe passage across. Humanity was adapting, surviving, cooperating on a scale never before seen in history. But would it be enough? The answer came sooner than expected. The Zarkol ship, silent since its arrival, suddenly pulsed with blinding light. A voice, felt more than heard, resonated across the planet and in the minds of every human. Interesting, the Zarkol spokesperson's mental voice echoed. You have survived the cataclysm trial. Unexpected, but not unprecedented. Prepare yourselves, humans. The true tests are yet to come. As the voice faded, Earth's crust began to settle. The upheaval slowed, then stopped, leaving behind a permanently altered landscape, a scar and a reminder of the power they faced. In the Rocky Mountain bunker, now exposed to open air by the planetary restructuring, Dr. Aisha Patel turned to the shaken world leaders. "Well," she said, a hint of grim humor in her voice, "I believe we can consider that a data point on their capabilities. The question now is, what's our next move?" General Harding, brushing dust from his uniform, managed a wry smile. "Their mistake was giving us a breather, Doctor. If there's one thing humans excel at, it's learning from a punch to the gut. And we just got one hell of a lesson." President Rodriguez's voice crackled over the damaged comm system. "Agreed. Dr. Patel, I want you and your team analyzing every scrap of data from this cataclysm trial. General Harding, coordinate with global military forces. I want us ready for anything. And someone get me Commander Chen from the Resilient. If the Zarkol want to test us, fine. But we're going to show them why you don't back a human into a corner." As the world below struggled to recover from the cosmic reshaping, Sarah Chen stared out at the alien ship from the Resilient's viewport. The initial shock was wearing off, replaced by a steely resolve. Humanity had faced its first trial and survived. Whatever came next, they would be ready. The Zarkol had wanted to test humanity's worthiness. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. The children of Earth were stirring, their ingenuity and determination honed by eons of struggle on their unforgiving homeworld. The true battle for humanity's place in the stars was just beginning, and unbeknownst to the Zarkol, they were about to learn a harsh lesson of their own. Never underestimate a species forged in the crucible of a death world. As the altered Earth spun below, scared but unbroken, Sarah allowed herself a small, fierce smile. The storm was far from over, but humanity was ready to weather it. The next trial awaited, and this time, they wouldn't be caught off guard. The Zarkol had made their move. Now, it was humanity's turn to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. Battle for Earth. The world held its breath in the uneasy calm following the cataclysm trial. Humanity had survived the Zarkol's first test, but at a terrible cost. The face of the planet was forever changed. Millions were displaced, and the looming threat of the alien ship served as a constant reminder that the worst was yet to come. In the makeshift command center hastily erected in the ruins of Geneva, Commander Sarah Chen stood before a gathering of world leaders and military commanders. The holographic displays around them showed the extent of the global upheaval, coastlines redrawn, new mountain ranges thrust skyward, vast chasms scaring continents. "We have 72 hours, Sarah announced, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. Dr. Patel's team has analyzed the Zarkol's energy emissions. They're in a regeneration cycle, likely preparing for the next trial." General Harding nodded grimly. "Then we have 72 hours to prepare our defenses. What's our plan, Commander?" Sarah took a deep breath. "We fight fire with fire, or in this case, we fight their advanced technology with our own innovation." She gestured to Dr. Aisha Patel, who stepped forward. "The Cataclysm trial gave us invaluable data on Zarkol technology," Aisha explained. "They manipulate matter and energy on a quantum level, reshaping reality itself. But their power isn't unlimited. We've detected fluctuations, weaknesses in their energy field." President Rodriguez leaned forward. "Are you saying we can hurt them?" Aisha smiled thinly. "I'm saying we can surprise them. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to find solutions in the face of impossible odds. We're going to use that to our advantage." As the briefing continued, plans were set in motion across the globe. In hidden laboratories and hastily repurposed factories, humans worked tirelessly to prepare for the coming storm. 72 hours later, the Zarkol ship pulsed with energy once more. This time, the alien voice that echoed across the planet carried a note of anticipation. Humans, it resonated in every mind. You have survived our first trial. Now face the culling. Prove your species' worth, or be deemed unfit for the cosmos. The ship's crystalline surface shimmered, and from it poured a horde of smaller craft. Each one was a fractal nightmare of sharp edges and pulsing energy, descending upon Earth's cities like a swarm of locusts. But humanity was ready. In New York, as the alien craft approached, the Statue of Liberty's torch suddenly blazed with blinding light. A massive electromagnetic pulse erupted, sending the first wave of Zarkol ships tumbling from the sky. EMP defenses holding, came the excited report from the New York Command Center. The adapted Tesla coil network is operational. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In Tokyo, swarms of microdrones rose to meet the alien craft, sacrificing themselves in kamikaze runs that disrupted the Zarkol energy fields. The drones, guided by advanced AI, developed in the frantic 72-hour preparation, exploited the weaknesses Aisha's team had identified. In the skies above London, Royal Air Force pilots engaged in desperate dogfights with the alien craft. Their fighters, hastily retrofitted with experimental quantum entanglement communication systems, moved with uncanny coordination, outmaneuvering the technologically superior foe. "It's working," Sarah exclaimed, watching the global battle unfold from the Resilient. "We're holding them back." But the Zarkol were far from defeated. As humanity celebrated its initial victories, the alien ship unleashed its second wave. Massive constructs of living crystal descended from the mothership, each one a walking fortress that shrugged off conventional weapons. In Moscow's Red Square, one such behemoth materialized. It towered over the Kremlin, its crystalline form pulsing with deadly energy. But as it prepared to unleash devastation, the ground beneath it suddenly liquefied. "Nanite swarms deployed successfully," reported the Russian defense minister, a note of pride in his voice. "Restructuring the very earth beneath their feet. Let's see how they like a taste of their own medicine." The crystalline giant sank into the nanite-infested ground, its energy field disrupted by the billions of microscopic machines that swarmed over its surface. Similar scenes unfolded across the planet. In Rio de Janeiro, a hastily assembled sonic cannon shattered a Zarkol walker. In Cairo, ancient pyramids opened to reveal hidden energy weapons, their design a fusion of recovered alien tech and human ingenuity. But for every victory, there was a cost. Cities burned, millions fled, and the casualties mounted. The Zarkol's technological superiority was evident, and only humanity's desperate innovation and home field advantage kept them in the fight. As the battle raged, Sarah Chen made a fateful decision. "We need to take the fight to them," she announced to the global command. "As long as that mothership remains operational, they'll keep coming." "What are you suggesting, Commander?" President Rodriguez asked, her holographic image flickering with interference. Sarah's eyes gleamed with determination. "We're going to board the Zarkol ship. Dr. Patel's team has developed a way to mask our energy signatures. We can slip a small team aboard while their forces are focused on the ground battle." General Harding shook his head. "It's suicide, Chen. Even if you make it aboard, what can a handful of humans do against their technology?" Sarah smiled grimly. "We'll do what humans do best, General. We'll adapt, improvise, and overcome. The Zarkol think they're testing us. Well, it's time we gave them a test of their own." As the plan was hastily put together, Sarah assembled her team. Jack Foster, her loyal second-in-command. Dr. Aisha Patel, whose brilliant mind had already saved countless lives. And a handful of the best soldiers Earth had to offer, each one volunteering for what might well be a one-way mission. As they prepared to board the Resilient for their daring assault, Sarah addressed her team. "I won't lie to you. This mission is dangerous, possibly suicidal. But every human on Earth is fighting for survival right now. If we fail, if we don't seize this chance, our species might not have a future among the stars." She looked each of them in the eye, seeing not fear, but resolute determination. "The Zarkol think they're judging us, deciding if we're worthy. But they've underestimated us at every turn. They don't understand what it means to be human, to face impossible odds and still fight on. Today, we're going to teach them that lesson. As the Resilient lifted off, cloaked by experimental technology that masked its energy signature, the battle for Earth raged on. Cities burned and fell, but humanity refused to break. For every Zarkol victory, there was a human counterstrike, born of desperate innovation and indomitable will. In the vastness of space, the Resilient approached the massive Zarkol mothership. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her heart pounding but her resolve unshaken. This was humanity's moment of truth. Win or lose, they would show the galaxy why Earth was classified as a death world, and why its children were a force to be reckoned with. As they prepared to board, Sarah's voice rang out clear and strong. For Earth, for humanity, for our future among the stars. Let's show these shepherds what happens when you back a human into a corner. The Resilient docked silently with the alien vessel, its crew ready to bring the fight directly to the heart of the Zarkol threat. The next phase of the battle for Earth, and humanity's cosmic destiny, was about to begin. Turning the tide. The interior of the Zarkol mothership was a maze of crystalline corridors, pulsing with otherworldly energy. Commander Sarah Chen led her small team through the alien vessel, their specially designed suits masking their life signs from the ship's sensors. It's like we're inside a giant, living computer, Dr. Aisha Patel whispered, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and scientific curiosity. Stay focused, Sarah reminded her. We need to find their central control system. As they moved deeper into the ship, the true scale of the Zarkol's technological superiority became apparent. Walls shifted and reformed at will, gravitational fields fluctuated unpredictably, and streams of pure data flowed through crystal conduits like blood through veins. How are we supposed to fight this? Jack Foster muttered, his hand tightening on his weapon. Sarah's reply was cut short as a group of Zarkol drones rounded a corner. The crystalline constructs, each the size of a small car, hummed with deadly energy. Scatter, Sarah shouted, diving for cover. The ensuing firefight was unlike anything the human soldiers had ever experienced. Their weapons, hastily modified with Dr. Patel's experimental quantum disruptors, sent out pulses that shattered the crystalline forms of the drones. But for every drone they destroyed, the ship itself seemed to birth two more. We can't keep this up, one of the soldiers gasped, nursing a wound where a shard of living crystal had pierced his armor. Sarah gritted her teeth, her mind racing. Then she saw it, a pulsing node in the wall, its energy signature different from the surrounding structure. Aisha, she called out. That node, can you interface with it? The scientist's eyes lit up with understanding. She pulled out a device of her own design, a hybrid of human technology and reverse-engineered Zarkol components. Cover me, she shouted, rushing towards the node. As the rest of the team provided covering fire, Aisha pressed her device against the pulsing crystal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like shattering glass, the node burst open, and Aisha was engulfed in a stream of pure data. Aisha, Sarah cried out, but the scientist's voice came through their comms, strained but excited. I'm okay. It's incredible. I can see the ship's systems, its thought processes. It's like a vast, alien mind. Can you control it? Sarah asked urgently. Not control, but influence. Give me time. As Aisha worked, interfacing with the alien systems in ways she barely understood herself, the battle raged on both inside the ship and on the earth below. In the skies over Beijing, a squadron of Chinese fighters engaged in a desperate dogfight with Zarkol craft. Just as it seemed the human pilots were outmatched, their neural interfaces suddenly came alive with new information. This is Dr. Aisha Patel. A voice crackled through their comms. I'm feeding you real-time data on Zarkol ship movements and weaknesses. Use it. With this new intelligence, the tide of the aerial battle began to turn. Human pilots, their reflexes and intuition now augmented by direct insight, into Zarkol systems, began to score victory after victory. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In the depths of the Atlantic, submarines armed with hastily developed quantum torpedoes struck at vulnerable points in Zarkol sea bases. In the heart of the Amazon, indigenous warriors guided robot drones through the dense jungle, ambushing alien ground forces with uncanny precision. Back on the Zarkol mothership, Sarah's team fought their way towards what Aisha's newfound connection told them was the central control hub. But as they approached, they found their path blocked by a being unlike any they had encountered before. A Zarkol elder, its crystalline form towering and majestic, stood before them. When it spoke, its mental voice reverberated through their very souls. "Humans," it intoned, a note of surprise and perhaps respect in its psychic voice. "You have surpassed our expectations, but do you understand what you are fighting for? What you might become if allowed to spread among the stars?" Sarah stepped forward, her weapon lowered but ready. "We're fighting for our right to exist, to grow, to explore. You came to our world uninvited, unleashed devastation upon us, and then have the audacity to judge whether we're worthy." The Zarkol elder's form shimmered, images of planets and civilizations long dead flickering across its surface. "We have seen countless species rise and fall. Those driven by aggression and expansion bring only ruin. We sought to test you, to ensure you would not become a scourge upon the galaxy. You tested us. All right," Jack spat, "by trying to wipe us out." "Not to wipe out," the elder corrected. "To prove your worth. And you have. Surprised us. Your adaptability, your ingenuity in the face of superior technology, your unity in the face of overwhelming odds. These are traits we have rarely seen." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "If you're so impressed, then call off your attack. Let humanity find its own path among the stars." The elder was silent for a long moment. Then, with a gesture, the ship around them came alive with images of the battle on Earth, but now they could see it from the Zarkol perspective. The unexpected human victories, the creative solutions, the unbreakable spirit of a species fighting for survival. "Perhaps," the elder mused, "we have been too rigid in our judgments. Your species has demonstrated qualities that may indeed be worthy of the cosmos." Hope surged through Sarah, but she kept her guard up. "Then end this, here and now." The elder's form pulsed with energy. "It is not so simple. The trial, once begun, must be completed. But perhaps the nature of the trial can change." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Aisha's voice came through their comms. Panicked. "Sarah, the ship's systems are going haywire. It's like it's tearing itself apart." The elder's form flickered, its mental voice now tinged with urgency. "Your interface with our systems has triggered failsafes we did not know existed. The ship is initiating a purge protocol." "You mean it's going to self-destruct?" Sarah asked, horrified. "With Earth in the blast radius." The elder's response was grim. "Unless the protocol can be stopped, yes. This was not part of our design." Sarah turned to her team, her mind racing. "Aisha, can you stop it?" "I'm trying, but the systems are fighting me. It's too alien, too complex." In that moment, Sarah Chen made a decision that would alter the course of human history. "Elder," she said, turning to the Zarkol being, "you wanted to test us. Fine. Let us work together to stop this. Combine your knowledge of your systems with our adaptability. Let that be humanity's final trial." The elder was silent for a moment, then nodded its crystalline form. "Agreed. Let us see if our species, so different, can find unity in the face of annihilation." As alarms blared and the ship shuddered around them, humans and Zarkol raced against time. Aisha, her mind linked to the ship's systems, worked in concert with the elder, their combined knowledge seeking a solution to the impending catastrophe. The fate of Earth, of humanity, and perhaps of the Zarkol themselves, now hung in the balance. The ultimate test had begun, not one of combat or technology, but of cooperation, of finding common ground in the face of mutual destruction. As Sarah watched her team work alongside the very beings they had been fighting moments before, she allowed herself a glimmer of hope. Perhaps this, more than any battle, would prove humanity's worth to the cosmos. The ship trembled, energy surges racing through its crystalline corridors. Earth hung in the balance, its future uncertain. But in that moment of crisis, two vastly different species stood united, racing against time to prevent a catastrophe neither had foreseen. The true measure of humanity was about to be tested, not in war, but in the desperate struggle for mutual survival. A new galactic order. The Zarkol mothership hung in Earth's orbit, its crystalline structure pulsing with chaotic energy. Inside, an unlikely alliance of humans, and Zarkol raced against time to prevent a catastrophe that threatened both species. Commander Sarah Chen watched in awe as Dr. Aisha Patel, her consciousness merged with the ship's systems, worked in tandem with the Zarkol Elder. Their minds, human and alien, were locked in a complex dance of problem-solving that transcended the boundaries of their respective species. "We're close," Aisha's voice echoed through the ship's corridors, tinged with both strain and excitement. "The Purge Protocol is like nothing I've ever seen, but the Elder's knowledge is filling in the gaps. We just need more time." Sarah gritted her teeth. Time is the one thing we don't have. How long until detonation? The Elder's mental voice resonated with grim certainty. "At the current rate of degradation, no more than 10 of your Earth minutes." Jack Foster, monitoring communications with Earth, suddenly perked up. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the planet. It's every nation, every scientific institution. They're offering to help." Sarah's eyes widened. "Patch them through to Aisha. Every bit of processing power, every insight could make the difference." What followed was unprecedented in human history. The combined scientific minds of Earth, from quantum physicists to teenage coding prodigies, poured their efforts into supporting Aisha and the Elder. Supercomputers across the globe were dedicated to crunching the alien algorithms, while intuitive leaps from minds as diverse as indigenous shamans and Silicon Valley tech gurus provided new perspectives on the problem. As the ship shuddered around them, as energy surges threatened to tear the vessel apart, humanity showed its true strength, not in warfare, but in collaboration, in the ability to unite and innovate in the face of extinction. With less than a minute to spare, Aisha's voice rang out, triumphant and exhausted. "We did it. The Purge Protocol is disengaged." A cheer went up from the human team, echoed by billions on the planet below who had watched the drama unfold. The Zarkol Elder's crystalline form pulsed with what Sarah could only interpret as relief and admiration. In all our millennia of observing species, the Elder's mental voice resonated. "We have never witnessed such adaptability, such unity in diversity. You humans are truly unique." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "We're stubborn that way. Now about that trial of yours." The Elder's form shimmered, projecting images of the battle that had raged across Earth. But now, they saw not just destruction, but instances of human courage, of sacrifice, of ingenious solutions to overwhelming odds. "The trial is complete," the Elder announced, "and humanity has not merely passed. You have redefined the parameters of the test itself." As the Elder spoke, the Zarkol ships across Earth began to withdraw. The crystalline constructs that had wreaked such havoc dissolved, their energy dispersing harmlessly. A collective sigh of relief echoed across the planet. "Your species," the Elder continued, "has demonstrated not just the ability to survive, but to thrive in adversity. More importantly, you have shown the capacity to unite, to pool your diverse strengths in the face of annihilation. These are qualities the galaxy desperately needs." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "What exactly are you saying?" The Elder's form expanded, enveloping them in a projection of the galaxy. "For too long, we Zarkol have been the sole arbiters of galactic civilization. We see now the folly of this approach. Humanity, with its unique perspective, its drive to explore and understand, could be a bridge between worlds. "You want us to join you?" Sarah asked, incredulous. "After everything that's happened." "Not to join us," the elder clarified. "To walk alongside us. To help shape a new galactic order, one that values diversity and adaptability as much as stability." The implications were staggering. Humanity, in one fell swoop, was being offered a seat at the galactic table. Not as supplicants or junior partners, but as equals. In the days that followed, as Earth began the long process of rebuilding, delegates from every nation convened to discuss the Zarkol's offer. The debate was fierce, with some arguing for isolation, others for full engagement with the galactic community. In the end, it was Sarah Chen, the woman who had led humanity through its darkest hour, who tipped the balance. Standing before the United Nations, she spoke not just to her fellow humans, but to a watching galaxy. "We have been tested," she began, her voice strong and clear. "Tested in ways we could never have imagined. We have faced the very real possibility of extinction, and we have emerged not just surviving, but victorious. Not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through our uniquely human traits, our adaptability, our creativity, our unwavering spirit." She paused, looking out at the sea of faces, seeing hope and determination, where once there had been fear. "The galaxy awaits us, not as conquerors or as subjects, but as partners. We have the opportunity to share our perspective, our indomitable human spirit, with civilizations beyond our wildest dreams. Yes, there will be challenges. Yes, there will be risks. But if our trial by the Zarkol has taught us anything, it's that humanity thrives on challenges. I say we accept this opportunity. Let us step out into the cosmos not in fear, but in friendship. Let us show the galaxy what it means to be human." The response was overwhelming. Humanity, with a unity rarely seen in its turbulent history, voted to accept the Zarkol's offer. In the years that followed, Earth underwent a transformation. The scars left by the Zarkol's trials became monuments to human resilience. The new mountain ranges and archipelagos birthed during the Cataclysm trial became centers of scientific research and cultural exchange. Zarkol technology, now freely shared, helped humanity leap forward centuries in development. But it was the human touch, the unique perspective of a species forged in adversity, that truly shaped this new era. Human diplomats became known throughout the galaxy for their ability to bridge seemingly insurmountable cultural divides. Earth's cities became hubs of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange. The adapted strategies developed during the invasion found new applications in terraforming hostile worlds and solving age-old conflicts between alien races. Sarah Chen, hailed as the hero of Earth's darkest hour, became humanity's first ambassador to the Galactic Council. Standing in a chamber of beings as diverse as the cosmos itself, she often reflected on the long, strange journey that had brought humanity to this point. "We came to the stars not as conquerors," she would often say in her addresses to the Council, "but as survivors, as adapters, as dreamers. We bring with us the lessons of our own turbulent history, the knowledge that diversity is strength, that adversity breeds innovation, and that even in the darkest hour, hope and unity can light the way forward." And as humanity spread among the stars, as human colonies took root on distant worlds, and human innovations sparked a new age of galactic cooperation, the universe watched in wonder. For in the children of Earth, forged in the crucible of a death world, and tested by cosmic forces, the galaxy had found something truly unique, a species that faced the unknown not with fear, but with insatiable curiosity and indomitable spirit. The Zarkol's trial, intended to judge humanity's worthiness, had instead revealed a truth as vast as the cosmos itself, that the true measure of a species lies not in its technology or its power, but in its capacity to adapt, to unite, and to face the infinite possibilities of existence with courage and compassion. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars. It had redefined what that place could be, ushering in a new era of galactic cooperation and exploration. The children of Earth, once confined to a single blue world, now reached out to touch the very fabric of the universe, forever changing it with their uniquely human perspective. And as new challenges arose, as the great wheel of cosmic history turned, humanity stood ready, adaptable, resilient, and unafraid, for they had learned the greatest lesson of all, that in the vast, wondrous tapestry of the cosmos, every thread, every voice, every perspective has value. And that together, united in diversity, there was no challenge too great, no frontier too distant to explore. The age of humanity among the stars had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.